So I thought maybe we'd start, we typically start pushing this class into immersion and doing some things. I thought we'd just do a little check-in. Uh, I gotten a couple pieces of feedback. One was maybe I could wait more when I'm asking you guys to say something in Tlingit and offer more prompts. So I'll do that. I think maybe I'll ask a question and maybe put it up there and try and guide the discussion a bit more, and then give you guys a bit more time to sort of put your own language together. Uh, but generally, how's it going? What kinds of things are going to help you? Like if the goal was, say, 5 years from now, when we do a class like this, we do it 100% in Tlingit. What kinds of things would help you or other students to get to that point? So anybody got any thoughts on that?
More help for context.
So yeah,
More help for context. So like pictures.
yeah, okay. Yeah, that'd be good. So, because, and maybe some more sort of specific questions related to some of these stories, which I could probably start crafting. Um, we could also just try and start with some sort of prompt. Like, I don't know, we've been doing this in intermediate Tlingit where we've been trying to develop kind of a bit of a pattern. So every Tuesday in intermediate Tlingit, we start by all the students would have spent the weekend putting together at least 5 sentences that combine for a bit of a narrative. So maybe for the Monday classes, we could do that. So we start class with everybody just sharing something. And we're not going to, I wouldn't put like a time minimum or maximum on there. And you can feel free to respond to each other. But that way you have, that every time we start our work week, you are going to share something. And maybe there's a chance to put some stuff together, and that might just kind of warm us up a little bit and get to know each other a little bit more. That way the just speaking in the language is a little bit easier perhaps. I mean, we can always read things too. We're still in Tlingit, we're just reading. So, but yeah, so more prompts, visuals, cues, okay, helping things in other ways. Other thoughts?
For me, one thing, I was watching those videos of the immersion, and I could understand what people were saying, but I think it's just moving from that into speaking. So it means just maybe holding my nose and jumping in and not being nervous to look stupid or make a mistake or whatever, but just going for it. I think is uh, probably where I'm at. What I need to do.
Okay, yeah, and generally, like, so if you just say something in this class, I'm always gonna just try to respond to it or carry the conversation on rather than offering any sort of suggestions or corrections, just because I believe we need more opportunities to just sort of let things flow. If you're asking for it, I might. Uh, but yeah, and so there is this thing that I notice where students their comprehension starts to take off, but then their speaking is pretty kind of slight. Like even the 3-day immersion was wonderful, but I don't know if there were a whole lot of opportunities for those who were in the learning stages of Tlingit to produce a lot of language. And there's also not very many places to go and just listen to it being used. And so it's a question of sort of increasing the opportunities to get together and share, but then also maybe sort of trying out some new things and sort of crafting some new things. But yeah, I really appreciate everybody just going for it, because the thing is the more you do that, the more you do realize where your gaps are and how you can kind of fill them yourself or seek out assistance for certain things. You'll realize there's just certain things you don't know how to do, and then we can work on those together. Other thoughts?
Adrian sentences achtiwu.
Oh, okay.
Gwas like talk shu achich de we carde wutua at. Plus dlikach nach keys achchi. Rewa woos achach we we kach eta ge ijiwu. Hu owe achuk ka yeyawa ka katika. Plus kach eta.
Okay. Yatetsu. Kleidahin aya we an kadishiti at aya. Achyuch atangi o a kaushachit we ka. Dak ka owe. Chat. Chat akach aya. Gwall tle ka owe ku. Hasu toasagu we yak. Has our chut. Tlach aya. Ja, ich ki dach away. Hast du chant o chut. Yewa. Konach lidzi. We yis ka yis sha. Yis ka yis sha. Gwall. Nask dis. Chanach aya has du toasagu aye has iti. Akut a. We kashuk ayi. We atunach yuchadutle atki at. We giwa kanao. We Kasiyi Qanch, Qachadasa, Achawek Cheg Ginki Litzi, Akawek Hastu Khantaya were two Kuch, Yakicht, Ya Hastu Ide Aya were two a she, Ya Hastu two Yak Eadan, Hastu Inch Hawusati, Taik Yagich Anach, Wujin were two a Ha, Wujin out to a Tlaich. Yewa, Wujin were two a she. Ya hastu yagu aya dach away we go. A data ya you chwagut. Yewa achtawas a guchagag aya chotle yechi hastu kach kawa yak kan. A dat you to chwatunk. Dat litzini at the tina chasiti gwalwe eight hini a kanach aya hasu wakuchu we yak yikt. Kachwaak ya achtaganki has the kach at kachak o ye do sago at aya kashkadain aya yuch achtatan kwa achwaches aya shachet loe has to g ye kwati aya we kucheta khatsu kucheta ye achwaka a itchaya we an kadishiti at kawu achjit Auxawu. Itwa Gesagu, Kaishihiti Dasa, Yuch Eyitani, Tlingit Enach, Katlet Enach. Kakwa Ak, Yo it is Ach Yuchetangi. De Oechwa Ach Awikucheta, how? Kakwadat Koa at Kachaku. Questus Johan Koa Yisakuyita. Okay. Other things to share, thoughts, ways we can do it more better.
I have some language.
Oh, okay.
My wife wanted me to say something in Tlingit. She works at the National Park Service, and she wanted to say, Tlingit Enach, I am holding the park together with a big warm hug. Tlingit Enach, Dujage Yawat A, Atuadach, Wusihan, We Kastahin Kwan.
Okay. Okay.
And then I had a comment.
Oh,
Me and my daughter are using the verbs ach, ye, cook, and na, drink. And we created a language cell around the dinner table. And we're going to practice for 1 month those three, because I basically, I need to work on my verbs, and I want to work on the ones I use.
okay. Kachonach yake. So yeah, we were talking about this last night too, like how we've got this kind of verb chart thing and how we could be potentially using this. So I'll put this up there so we could look at it. So I tried to think of, and I talked with some folks this summer, and then also with Shku Yates recently about what verbs do people want to know how to use, and then how could we be using these cards to sort of master these verbs in these different forms. And so I think it's a wonderful idea to have specific sort of use areas, and also to take it into a specific place. And so building up language, you're going to reach a point where you're going to have to figure out, how do I put this to use? Because you'll find that there's a bunch of classroom activities, but then when it comes to living and breathing and doing day-to-day stuff, it might be a bit of a struggle. So one of the things that we were talking about was, how could you use these to sort of keep identifying the patterns and putting new patterns, internalizing them, but also just knowing how to say this stuff. So I think it's great. Cooking, eating, uh, hand me this, hand me that. I want this, I want that. I'm hungry for this, I'm hungry for that. Like there's a whole bunch of stuff that covers a lot of life, is eating and talking about food. And then so one of the strategies, they call this domains and registers. So domains is a physical or social place where the language is going to be used. For example, if you say, I want to be able to cut fish and teach people how to cut fish and get fish ready for cooking and for smoking and for everything else, and I want to be able to do that in Tlingit. So then the register is all the language you need to do that. So to do something like that, let me show you I'll show you this one thing that I was working on maybe. So in thinking about working on fish, there's a bunch of stuff that you might need. So I put this presentation together to talk about fish, and this was for a non-Tlingit speaking audience. So I was saying a bunch of stuff in Tlingit and then giving them subtitles. But then I was thinking, like thinking of how we can make these presentations as well to give and to listen to about the Tlingit perspectives on the natural world. So you've got these sort of categories of things. Atkatu adi, hintak adi, atkaut legiji at kayani, aqaawe we khat, utisuku we eitlhini khat aya ta, qat, uk, teeth, chas, qa shiataheni aqadzati hasdat. Ya hastu da shagun awe kuwu koyi kadeyi yadu da achayi awe achina kawanik keuchne yechkone ka weha du kukutin ko a awu ya awe awu aya dik kat awu yataka atats aqi khasi. Yeah, away one kanins. Yeah. Oh, dasa. Yekega. Khasi aya yetu saku at. Yeah, away we Tlingit ka at katu ati duke. Kelchashuku at ko a khasi yetu saku at we khat. Ka atai aya glee. Khat ko a khuchu. Kelchashuku at ka khechu wak sha. Llitqaqut llitqaqutli ll qas nuchi yedu sago at jiswehat kach qnachach eyak e at gwallwe at wduwchan qnachach eyak e jeqe katawu kawus koi yeawa hasta. Okay, so okay, Dasa. Can you guys, everybody hear out there? Sounds like there's some internet connection issues. Ishan.
I wonder if there's a way to
Gank.
I wonder if there's a way to create lessons about like just generally how to create a sentence, like how to go about that and how to check your grammar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good. Well, like one thing that we could do, if you guys wanted some more sort of direct feedback, is we could try like maybe we all put like 5 sentences on like a Google document over the weekend. And then Monday you share your sentences with us and we kind of look at it and you get some more sort of guided feedback on it. And then we can also spend parts of our class, like towards the end of class last week, on a week ago, we sort of looked at Kakachguk, but we did a very slow move through and talked about exactly how the sentence was working. So I think there's a couple ways you could do that. One is making your own sentences and then getting specific feedback on it. And two is taking one of these stories that's already been published and sort of showing me how everything works in there. Because if you just have to say, here's every single thing in that sentence, then that will reveal to you how the fluent speaker puts those sentences
Yeah.
together. And also, I think the transcription and translation part does really help, because then you have to kind of do that without any guide, in terms of how are you hearing the Tlingit and writing it, and then how are you interpreting what's being said.
I agree. I think already that's helped me a lot in this class as opposed to intermediate. Just having that hands-on, really working with.
Okay. Any other thoughts? I heard a brief voice from Dakadach. Were you just telling me about your internet troubles? Okay. So the other thing was just trying to keep in mind the projects that you have for this class. So there's a couple things that are coming up within the next 3 weeks, maybe. Putting together a biography, an indigenous Tlingit biography about some orator, some storyteller, some public speaker that you just want to share some things about their life. Yes. Let me get to that, Shauna Kate. And then doing a transcription and translation project of at least 10 minutes of something. And there's also some conversations, like if you're feeling intimidated with stories or something, there are conversations if you want to try those. Alice Taff Jock had recorded a number of incredible conversations, and there's quite a few that have not been transcribed or translated, or maybe the translation is there because she would sit down with a fluent speaker and say, what's this mean? What's that mean? What's that mean? And she would write the translation, but the Tlingit is not there. And then maybe the translation needs to be just worked on a bit, because sometimes if a fluent speaker tells you something, not that they're wrong, but they've already got a bunch of the pieces together in their mind. So sometimes what they tell you is something that'll make sense to you, but to a new learner, it might not sort of all register. So you've got your biography, your transcription, and your translation, and you're going to take one of these old little stories, didn't we talk about that? And you're going to retype it and translate it. Does that sound surprising to anybody? We talked about it. I think I put that text up. There's these little texts that they made probably in the 70s that were amazing, and they're entirely in Tlingit, and they got these little short stories. I think Kushiek was sharing them. And so I've got a bunch of these, and they need to be retyped, and then there's a good exercise in terms of translation for you, because they're meant to be teaching guides, and so there's a lot of these old little books that I want to have electronic versions of so that we can reprint them and save some of the illustrations and stuff, because that's what this stuff was made for. And I think we're building these language communities that are strong enough to really do a lot of work with a lot of these things. So then one of the questions is, what about these? Hold on a second. So just trying to get some of these things to work on. So these Elan files and other things. I know some of you have started working on things. I've sent some of you folks things. Shauna Kate, you're asking about Puck from Cyril George, but I would actually suggest if you could pick another one from him, because Puck has already been worked on. And so,
This is a different one.
oh,
His is about the beaver.
yeah. Here, let me show you. I'll show you what I'm talking about. It's not in the books that are out right now, but let me show you. I just had a student who already we already did this one. And I think it would be fine if you really want to. But for me, I would think, hey, let's get something that hasn't been done yet so we can build this. Um, it just helps the whole language community. So if you, because I think this one, and let me see if I've got the subtitles up there for it.
Because it didn't have it's on YouTube and it did not have captions, so I figured it was untranslated.
Which one is it? Was this one that says Nusk or Daokun?
Nask.
Well, let me check.
Jared Hope asked me when they were in Sitka, they're sharing our.
Can you guys hear that?
We could hear it, and then we couldn't hear it.
Can you hear it now?
Like,
Okay, hold on. Let me fix that.
With our grandchildren
We can hear it now.
Okay.
90 years, 100 years from today. I told him this story. Yeah. Talk. Ha atkindaguts.
Yeah, okay. No, that one hasn't been done. That would be perfect. I can set that one up for you. Okay?
Okay. Okay. This first story his is like 2 minutes. Then there's a break, and then there's about 7 minutes more of more on Kak. I've transcribed it in Tlingit, and I've done the first part in translated into English, and I'm starting the second part. Yeah, I was hoping it hadn't been done.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think so. I thought so, but then maybe we did the other one. Let me check the other one real quick. Yeah, maybe we did this one.
Stoyaya kaine.
Yep. Yeah, so we did that version. So, yeah, okay. Sounds great.
Buenos
So
cheese.
I can set that up, and so, whoops, that's my goofy face. So basically, what happens is when I set these files up, uh, this is a folder of all the Elan files that we're sometimes collaborating on. And so you can go through here and see, like I'm happy to set these up for you if these are the things that you want to work on. For example, like if we go to Kahuan Ish and then Kusten Nak, this one's ready. Maybe this is one we could sort of do together. Uh, I know we were kind of doing the Taka one together too, so one or the other, maybe both. I don't know. There's other stories too. But basically, what I would recommend is downloading like everything in that folder. So you would sort of see this and you would download it and you would keep them all in a folder, work on it, and then when you're ready to show me, like if you want some help on it, or if you just want to send it now and then, or you say, I'm done, I got my 10 minutes in, I'm out. Uh, all you need to send me is this EAF file, because I have everything else. And so it'll relink to the other audio and video files. And so that's how you're going to do that part of your work. So you want to make sure that you've looked at Elon, you've looked at your computer situation, and if there's anything that we can do to help you with that, then let's stay in contact. This is a giant octopus story. These top three are conversations from Alice Taff, and she's hoping that we'll help her with those. Jacotine has a couple of stories here. Clarence Jackson, this one might be already worked on, but I'm not exactly sure. Someone asked for some Emma Marx stuff, so I put it in here. Harry Bremner is in here. Ida and Bessie had a long conversation about women's roles, uh, immersion gatherings. I don't know what's in that. Oh, I think there's just a few different things in here from different immersion settings. I haven't looked at it in a while. Cyril George, if anyone's interested in Gish Qi, that one I think is about how the Deshitan got the dragonfly as a crest. And it's a fascinating story. It starts out with a pod of killer whales fighting a giant octopus. Kasech Kachinahak, that one's already done. Kachon Ish, there's a Kushtaka story, which somebody, I think Millie's working on that maybe. And you can work directly in, if you have Google Drive installed and you'd rather work directly with these files, that's fine if you know how to do that. I just ask you to be real careful to not delete things or move them, because then it just creates a lot of extra work. There are a couple others from Cajon Ish that I have. These ones might all be done. These are the puppet shows. So maybe they're not all done. So if you're feeling like some of these big narratives are just kind of freaking you out a little bit, take a look at the Let's Learn Tlingit and just try a puppet show, because it's not an insult. There's really challenging language in there. And you can also learn how to say, look into my pocket. But you got to use that in the right circumstances. Shagun, there's a number of ones from Shagun, but those are mostly, probably the majority of the ones by Shagun have been recorded by Chit Wu. There is one, be careful with the one in Nora down. There's one in there that if you want to learn how to chew people out, it's in there. But that's not for everybody to know about and see. I could certainly tell you about it some other time. This is a peace ceremony that was in Daeshu. It was in Haines. I think that one's already been worked on. But you can certainly just take a look at these. I mean, there's really fun stuff in here. You can see what other students have done in the past. This is a Robert Zuboff. Somebody probably asked me for that, and I'm not sure what's on it. Sam Johnston has some really, there's Kakit. This one was pretty recent. It's a story about a loon and why its eyes are kind of red. A Kushtaka one, I think that one's been worked on. Hake, I think has been worked on. Yeah, and not say that you can't, it's over, but my preference is that we try and get some new things done. And then there's lots of other stuff out there. There's lots and lots of stuff out there. So if you're looking for anything that's not in there, let me know. Or if you know some recording that you want to work on as well, let me know. If you've got a recording that has a bunch of noise on it, I can clean it up for you. So whatever helps you to get that kind of work done.
So where is this, Kune? Is it on the course website or the web page?
Yeah, I'll show you how to get there. And then, oh, Shkuyech is halfway through Kakrit. So he says, don't touch it. Just kidding. Yeah, so if we go to our class web page, let me find where I put this stuff. So on here, there's a, let's see, where did I put these? Maybe I don't know if I think I sent that link in an email because I don't want the whole world to have access to this. So if you need me to resend it, let me know. Because with these ones, I don't want everybody to have access to them because.
Sure. We'll have a look for it then. Thanks.
And just let me know if you need me to resend it. because here we do have some things, and I'll tell you what's in here. So this is where sometimes I'll put some recordings and things if the website wasn't working to allow me to put them on there to download, but I think it's working again. But this is where I'll put recordings of stories that we're listening to or going through. These are the texts that need to be retyped and also translated. So if you go, oh, no, this is just showing who's going to do it. That's what this was, okay. So I had this idea that we would all collectively be retyping a bunch of Tlingit that was done on typewriters, and this could include stuff also in language centers and other places that stuff that is in print only, we want to make sure that we have electronic versions of it. And there's a number of different reasons, and one of the big reasons is you can just look for it. Like if you run into this verb or this word and you're not sure what it was, there was one in that Raven and Fire story that we were working on. I think that was here, or was that last semester? And it was to talk somebody into doing something. And so because we had other versions of it, like I was able to find it, because that one wasn't in any of the dictionaries. And then Millie has Kushtaka by Sam Johnston, and working on the other Kushtaka. Yeshtutla is working on the Guntutuk, the woodworm. And let me see if there's anything else I need to show you guys on here. Well, I guess this one is takes you to a shared folder where I just keep everything that I'm usually working on in Tlingit. So this is a shared folder, so there's a bunch of handouts in here for a bunch of different things. And if you have things that you notice aren't on here and you want to share them, feel free to send them to me. At some point, probably over the next year, I'm going to try and rethink how to sort of make this stuff accessible through tlingitlanguage.com, like having a curriculum thing that's sort of broken out by age group and activities so that we can also see where we might be filling in some of the blanks. Under images and illustrations, I've got a bunch of stock images and stuff. If you're looking for an image of something, feel free to ask me because I've got a bunch of credits with this website, and you could print them. You buy the rights to use them. Because if we just sort of go and download a bunch of stuff from the internet, somebody could be mad. Like one time I saw this guy, he went in because they used one of his photographs, and he was mad because nobody told him or asked him. And he went into the meeting all mad, and he came out with like a potted plant. I was like, "That's what you wanted?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was fine with that." But anyways, you don't have the rights to publish just any image that's out there. So if you're looking for things, just let me know. And then I'll look for those Elon files. I don't remember seeing them, but I'll check it again. And then there's posters in here. There's those seasonal round posters that were done for Tsimshian language programs. There's just a bunch of stuff in it. There's some texts in here. This is how you can get electronic versions of things. If there's anything out there that's been published in Tlingit, it's probably in there. And so just take a look, and then that's also available for you to use. So, okay. So there's Kakachguk, Seideya, and maybe some Elon practice. That's what I was thinking for the rest of the class. Unless you guys have any thoughts or questions or things you want to talk about.
I got one more question about Kathkao Kedah Kak. Can we download that at home onto Elan just from YouTube?
Yes, there are ways to do that. Downloading from YouTube. Sometimes there's like these video downloaders you can do as an add-on. I found a program which I personally think works really well. The one thing that it doesn't, well, let me open it first.
Because, I won't even consider doing that if I'll just wait for you to get it ready. That sounds easier.
Yeah, I can do it for you. So there is this program called iSkySoft Media Converter if you're working on a Mac. I like it a lot because you can convert most video formats from one thing to another. You can download directly, and you can also put subtitles directly onto videos using this program. But yeah, like I've got all in these things, and so it's pretty easy for me to download it and to also it's a smaller size video than what I'd usually put on YouTube because you don't need super high definition to transcribe and translate, and it'll actually slow down your file quite a bit. So yeah, I can set those up for you in the next day or so, Shana Kate.
Goodness, cheese.
Ah, okay. So what do you guys want to do first? Kakachgook,
What,
Sedika,
sorry, what was that program called again, René?
iSkySoft Media Converter Deluxe, or iMedia Converter, I guess. And just know it's one of these things it's a good program. You got to pay for it. It works well. It's better than anything I've used so far. But it is one of these things where they're going to spam you and try and get you to buy like 100 other different things. So feel free to opt out of whatever email thing they start roping you in. It's usually just their own stuff. They're trying to sell you like 100 different things, but uh, it seems to be pretty reliable. It works really well. Because then you can also download directly from just about anywhere, I think. Facebook is sometimes a little tricky, but you can download straight from YouTube really easy with that program. And if you're downloading from YouTube using that program, it'll ask you what version you want, and I would pick a resolution that's about 480. So it's lower than DVD quality. But again, you don't need really high quality to do the transcription and translation. Okay, you okay? So what do you guys feel like doing now? Down.
Wanach so ja yesh kan yuchatangi chagut we yesh kan ja yesh kuku yi
Oh, uh, yeah, I had. Gwash naski nach kako has du chedach aya ach jiwu yel chakranch kalnigi. Kaski shadang kit ya nahi ya yiin gwashwesh kalnig da yeju tuneyi. The cut has du chedach aka wuj in kauchsani. So I kind of wove together these three different versions. And that's why it was different than any of those ones that I sent you. Ah. Okay. So let's see. So we do have, let me show you what our options are and what we're going to do next. So here's Kakachguk. I think we could also practice working on, which one? Maybe Tustenach. That one's pretty fun. But we were going through the Tagha one as well, right? I don't know. Cannibal or Giant Octopus? You get a pick. And then there's Seideya.
a at aeati a at dein. A at aeati a at dein. A at aeati a at dein. A at aeati a at dein.
There's a lake there.
Mm-hmm. Probably something like this.
Aeati a at dein. A at aeati a at dein. A at aeati a at dein.
So, so whenever you're doing the translation work, whenever you have like aweh or ah, you're gonna have some. You're just gonna have to go with the flow and figure out as a translator what you're gonna do with that. So I would probably say like maybe that's it. A lake. There's a lake there. Around the lake. That's probably what I'd put for that. But, so the Dane part is like in that vicinity. It's around it. What at Dane? And there could be some things to look at. Is Dane the coming from a verb like da? But I would expect nadane if that's the case. Yanadane perhaps. What's next?
Qatini el ayik.
Let me grab the whole thing.
Qatini el ayik we ka. Qatini el ayik we ka.
Teen, is that like a mouth of a river? Mouth of a river? Or like wetlands kind
Qatini el ayik we ka.
Qatini. Qatini is a very important thing in Tlingit. I would probably venture to guess. Everywhere there has ever been a Tlingit village, there's a Qatini near it.
Sockeye Creek.
Yep.
Qatini el ayik we ka.
So that's pretty interesting, right? So okay, so we got Sakai. Um, maybe we'll put A because and we can go back later. Do we need to capitalize Qatini? Maybe, probably not in this case. Qatini awa. And then to say, there's going to be lots of decisions and they're going to be yours to make. Whether you're going to say, I think we had creek, a Sakai Creek, a Sakai River. I was trying to get the difference between Nadayihin, Kanadayihin, Khatini, and Heen Plain. I know Heen Plain is a big river, like the
Don't
children.
forget Hinuk.
And Heenuk Chish is a small stream that I think that would not have fish in it. That's what I think, though. I mean, but then getting Kanadayihin, Nadayihin, and Khatini, there seems to be maybe a difference between those, but I haven't figured that one out yet.
John Martin might have an opinion. His name is Hinuk.
Yeah, he says that's the name for, what did he say? Gulf of Alaska?
Huh?
Hinuk. But yeah, I think Hinuk is, from what I understand, it's a little creek. It's a creek that doesn't. But yeah, I don't want to argue with people about their names. So Katini awe a yik we a ka.
We are ka.
What are we gonna do here, folks?
Well, sometimes, well, you have to have a sockeye creek, and they go up into the lake to spawn.
Right?
Katini el a yik we are ka.
So when we say Katini and we say a yik and we say a ka, it's interesting because when we got bodies of water, how are we going to be in the river? How do you say in the river?
Is it heen talk or
It,
heen yit?
it would most commonly be heen yik, unless you're talking about going down to the bottom of the river. But when you're going to say into the lake, you would say a talk. Typically, that's how I'm hearing it. So if I was to translate this, I'd say a sockeye creek or river, in it, there on the lake, or it flows to the lake, So this is the thing, as you translate, you might have to just sort of put something there, and as you go through and start getting in the other pieces, you might go back and kind of rethink it, right? But so we are probably talking about this Sockeye Creek that does either come from a river, or it comes from a lake, or maybe we're going up towards the lake. We're really not sure yet. Let's see what's here.
Sockeye Street.
So then we don't have to, we could sort of, so the way that Elon is set up is you have these, usually you have these two tiers. So in this Elon folder, which I think I'll just send you guys the link for it. But down here, there's this template that Yatutin set up for us. And that template it's awesome. So for example, if I was going to make a new Elon file, so once you're done with this class, or you want to just do this stuff on your own, you would open Elon and you would say File, New. The first thing it's going to ask you for is for the media files. So for the media file, you're going to go and find it. It's going to be, well, it doesn't have anything yet. It does. Well, let's just set up Unit 10. So when you're setting up your media files, you're going to want, if it's a movie, you're going to want the movie file and then a WAV file. Because the WAV file helps you to see these little things so you can see the audio. So that's the first one you grab. And then the second one you grab is the video. And you're doing this by selecting this Add Media File button. And so if you don't know how to set those up, I can do that for you. There are some processes involved and some software. And so then you'll say, open that, add template file, and in this Elon folder is this great template that Yatutin set up for us. Once you've done those three things, you click OK, and now this thing is ready to go. Right, so this is the theme song, and then that looks like music to me. And then this might be some speech. So then you might select this as two. And so when you highlight this and then you double click here, you can type the Tlingit. And then let me make this a little larger. And so wherever you have made this space to type in Tlingit, if you double click underneath it, that's how you type into the English. So you're going to do the Tlingit first, then the English underneath it, and it's just lined up for you. So how are you all? And what's Adgetki?
Children.
Yeah. Oops. And then the other thing, you want to keep punctuation in mind, things like that, as you're doing these types of things. So how would I say child? If adyetki is children, or adatki, how would you say child?
Yadi.
Yadi would be a child, and so it does work, but usually yadi has to belong to something like ach yadi, du yadi, ka yadi. But what if just like a child, like to say, because I could say adyetki chasati, they are children. But if I want to say he is a child, or she.
Yadi city.
Yadich sati, it does work. There's another way as well. Anybody know?
Is it Kutsko?
Atkatsku. Yeah, what? Atkatsku is usually what I hear for like a child. And then adatki or adyetki. And so it's just kind of interesting to sort of note how those are used. So we got these two things. So this is going to be some of the differences between a puppet show is a little bit more sort of slower paced kind of language, right? So then the next phrase we're going to get this. Yuxatini is probably what he finishes. Oops, I didn't get it all. So there's that. But then, so if we go here,
Sockeye Street.
So if there's English, you could double click in the Tlingit, leave it blank, and then go sockeye stream. You could put that in the Tlingit as well. So I think our current, so I would probably put this in like that, which would tell me when I publish it, if I was going to do a printed version, I would put this on the side where the Tlingit is and put it in italics. Though I'm treating it like a foreign language.
Kaha adakwanas gas. Kaha adakwanas gas. Kaha adakwanas gas.
So some of the, I think we went over this. You can slow this down.
Kaha adakwanas gas. Kaha adakwanas gas. Kaha adakwanas gas. Kaha adakwanas gas.
What are you hearing there?
Kaha adakwanas gas.
Akach on it. Awe. Yanas gas.
Kaha adakwanas gas.
Adak. Is that like into the
Kaha
interior?
Oops.
Into the interior.
Into the interior? Okay, sorry, I kept playing it.
Kaha adakwanas gas.
Gaksha? On it, maybe?
Yeah. Is that the verb for scratch?
There is a scratch that is very similar, yeah. So let's, I don't know if I'm hearing the qa, what Shkuyesh would call the back G. Where is my, oh, I see. So there's a gus, which might be, so here's gus. This is what I think I'm hearing. Gus. It's to migrate, to move along, to basically move your whole house, because the verb root is a house post. And there's some different things going on in there. Like as a motion verb, I would expect yaqnashkas, but I'm not really hearing that. But to translate this, I would probably say people migrate along it. And so the k would be like the people part, but it's something you might come back and rethink as you sort of start piecing the story together. It could be a case where you go through, and then you might even say, oh yeah, shkuyesh, I think you're the only one that I know that calls it back G. So, we would call achuti G. Or no, Anuti G. Nuti is the name of that thing that makes that sound. Okay, let's do a couple more and then we'll see what we want to do from there.
Itoasaguin kakosani. Itoasaguin kakosani. Itoasaguin kakosani.
Tuasiku yiin.
I'm getting confirmation that Milir and Yecht Uchta also call it a back G. Maybe this is like is this a Yukon Native Language Center thing? Is this one of these dialects, Canadian dialect things? Like you guys have decals and pecans and back G's and Z's? I'm trying to become fluent in Ginjichuan. Yeah, well, I don't want to stand out when I go there. See zeros and decals. And adult, or are we adult? Okay, sorry.
Itoasaguin kakosani.
Kakwasanik.
Okay. Ituasagu in kakwasanik.
Itoasaguin kakosani.
How do you translate that?
You want me to tell you a story?
Right, and then a story, the story, you want me to tell it to you, that could be interpreted a number of different ways, right? So that kakwasanik, so like ituasagu in shkakwashnik, you want me to tell you stories. But ituasagu in kakwasanik, I would probably say you want me to tell it to you. But it could go either way, to tell you a story, to tell you the story of it. And again, like as a translator, you're going to have decisions to make, and they'll be yours. They'll be your decisions.
Sawakta katar. Sawakta katar. Sawakta katar. Sawakta katar. Sawakta katar.
We're doing this together, but a lot of times,
Sawakta katar.
I'll have headphones on. I'll slow it down and get used to just listening to something a million times, right?
Sawakta katar.
The walk.
The cat.
The katar. Sawakta katar.
I don't know about that last part. I mean, I know it's, and then there's things you could do. So like, if you're working on this, and if you're gonna send this to me, what I'd recommend, like, say you hit this part and you're like, okay, there's walk, dot, cut, maybe, but maybe there's some kind of thing. There's some other thing there. What I recommend,
Sawakta katar.
maybe, yeah.
Sawakta katar.
Is to sort of to keep listening, to get your best guess down there, and if you're not sure, you put 2 question marks in a row, only 2, and it has to be 2, not just 1, because if you just put 1, I'm just going to think that you're putting your punctuation in. But if you put 2, what I will do is I'll go and I'll look for those double quotation marks. And that's an area where I'll go in and sort of find the things you want me to check. And we might not be able to get them, you know. So I would probably say maybe. That's probably what I would do for that part. And then there's some stuff that you might find that you write down, and then you'll come back a year later and like, how did I not hear that as the other thing? And sometimes you'll share it with someone and they'll hear it, you know. So that's why this stuff is fun to do together. So we'll make sure to start reserving some time to listen to some things that you want us to check out. Although listening to them as a group is sometimes not as easy as listening to it with some headphones and an environment where it's just a little sometimes quieter. This one's pretty long.
Shkatayikta atka katashtanin chak. Shkatayikta atka katashtanin chak. Shkatayikta atka katashtanin chak. Shkatayikta atka katashtanin chak. Ta atka katashtanin chak. Shkatayikta atka katashtanin chak.
Something about to the mouth. Something.
Shkatayikta atka katashtanin chak. Shkatayikta atka katashtanin chak.
So then the other thing is that if you start to get this, you can also sort of
Shkatayukta atka
Say, okay, maybe I got that.
katashtanin. Katashtanin. Chak.
Shkatayukta atyukatushtanan chak.
Shkatayukta atka katashtanin. Chak.
Ooh.
Shkatayukta atka katashtanin. Chak.
Maybe there's no you.
Shkatayukta atka katashtanin. Chak.
Awakatushtanan chak. Okay.
Is that a handling verb? Kadushtanin.
Let's go find this one. Kadushtanan. So what are we going to look for?
Is it giwe and not awe?
Oh, maybe.
Shkatayukta atka katashtanin. Chak.
Yeah. Good ears. Shkatayukta atkiwe kadushtanan chak. Let's look for tan. See what we find. And we're going to look for, so there's a couple things. So if we're going to start with this verb, there's a ka for the thematic. Du is showing us the subject. SH means we're going to look for either an SH. If we look in the nation store, we're going to look for SHI or JI, and then ton. And then the in part is used to, but not anymore. So let's look for like a kashatan or so kajitan. Oh, there's kashatan. In the habit of doing so. Doing frequently because one enjoys doing it. So there's some things that you might sort of see. So you could say, ashka gewe akashatanen. Or if you say ashka awe akashatanen. He used to, or she used to, be in the habit of gambling, right? So you're talking about used to, so people used to be in the habit of. People used to be in the habit of long ago. But then we've got this beginning part. Sh'ada yukta'at. What is sh'ada?
Around one's mouth?
Yeah, around one's own mouth. And then you've got yukta'at. And so kada'at is maybe something we'll look at. Just sort of listen to that part again, make sure we've got it right.
Shkatayukta atka. Shkatayukta atka.
Sh'ada. So we could look for the at verbs and see what we find. Here's a bunch of at, and we're looking for da'at type of a thing. Assemble, probably not. Sh'ada da'at. So we're looking for ka da'at. Not seeing it here. So another place we could look is in Jeff Lear's verb note. So if we don't see it here, we could look. We're going to go down here to ought. And there's a million type of ought type of things. And so here's kaudaat, to be left there. That might not be it. He at the shua at. Judah at. Sha'at. Yasha'at. Ashakau sha'at. So you're getting like putting things there, taking things. So there is one of these carrying verbs there. Yuschaut is to talk. Jakaut la'at is to serve. Hin chayach nasha'at, laying about the riverbank. Kinakati is a coat. The ut part, this part of Lear's notes is probably not as thorough as some of the others, just in terms of a bunch of things. We get into a bunch of nouns for a bit. Made them go, sent them, kauda'at, rushed there in a mass, ash'at, ashasha'at, ashuksha'at, probably not, aksha'at, probably not, akush, atkush'at, aksha'a, wutla'at. So we're getting a bunch of these carrying verbs, like with to carry baggage or button things up, laying out objects. Yukta'at, chayach, or chada, sorry, chada yukta'at. Serving, to end, extend somewhere. Interesting. Then we get into the cold. Shchada yukta'at kewe kudeshtanen chak. So this is, and we're going to probably encounter some where we're going to have to take a guess, maybe, and then we're also going to have to probably take some of these to speakers and say, what does this mean to you? Shchada yukta'at, you know. And then the other thing that we're going to have to do is go into a word order type of thing, because it might be a case where we'll say to one's own, around one's own mouth, yukta'at gewei. I would probably say something like, people used to be in the habit of being mindful of what they said long ago. But, you know, it could be something different, right? So if you have access to a speaker, ask them what that means, because what we find is sometimes there's these certain combinations of things, and we're like, I don't, it's like this thing and that thing, but then you say it to a speaker, and they just know, because some of these things could be just maybe it hasn't been documented because there's a million of these ought type of verbs. Shada is usually you're getting like weigh your own words, those types of things. Like we were getting shada, and then it's really being mindful of your own mouth. It's typically the way I've heard shada being used. So there we are. Thoughts? Okay. We'll move on. Well, sometimes you gotta just move on, and then you'll come back and maybe collectively look at it, think about it, share it with speakers.
Shchatai kta'at. Shchatai kta'at. Shchatai kta'at.
So there he is again. And usually if you're getting the you in a verb, you're getting a K at the end. It's very common. You a tunk, you to tunk. And it's just saying it's something that happens regularly. So then I'm going to put the K on there as well. Since I heard it clearly right here, I'll go back and say that's got to be the same verb right there. And maybe I'll say, but we'll see. We'll see what speakers think. Okay. We'll come back to this one. It's a good one. And then, he does lead up to this. Okay, we'll come back to that. So again, when you get into these stories, you're going to get into big, full language. You're going to find a bunch of stuff that I think might be new to you. Definitely but don't get discouraged. Just put what you think it is, double question mark, move along. And then we'll come back through and we'll try and work on those things together. We'll try and find some speakers we could work with as well if there's things we're totally stuck on.
So right now, do you have a library of these non-translated videos on these templates, and anybody can just pick one that's ready to go?
That's something I should do. And so what I'll do is I'll try and build an inventory over the weekend of what I've got as far as these videos and what's been currently worked on. And there's not a whole lot. There's Nora's Raven and the Deer story is done. One of the versions at One at Sea Alaska of Kauk from Cyril George is done. Ak Tatsin from Cyril George is done. Gishri is not done. Talk from Cyril George is not done. This George Davis one is not done. Who else there's Elizabeth Bosley, I think hers is done. There was Elizabeth, there's a Mary Anderson. If you really like Seda Ya stories, I've got a narrative from her that nobody's worked on as far as I know. There's a conversation with her and Liza Bosley, which I don't think anybody worked on. There's a conversation between Bessie Cooley and Ida Kelmegan that I think somebody started that, but I don't think it's done. There's a speech by Norman James, which is done. But yeah, I'll make a list, so at least you could see, and then I'll put down there what they talked about when I remember. And so, yeah, there's lots of stuff that's out there. And then there's tons of stuff in the Dauenhower collection. And this is challenging work. There's probably only 4 or 5 people in the world that can really do this type of stuff. Although if we collaborate, we can probably do this stuff much more efficiently. But it does give you something to do if you're looking for ways to put the language around you. This is a tool that does allow you to sort of do a walkthrough and say, oh yeah, this is what I'm hearing, and then going through with the translation I think is really helpful. But yeah, Shauna Kate, I'll work on that. Okay, anything else? Okay. I got really exhausted by the immersion. It was really good, but it was very tiring. So Monday, let's bring some sentences to share. We will look at Kakachkuk. We will look at Seda Ya. I posted the first 2 stories from her And that's enough for next week. And then we'll walk through either this Kustinak or the Taka, whichever you guys feel like. And so start going through, seeing what's there, and let me know if there's certain videos or audio that you want to set up. If someone's feeling super confident, I've got a video of J.B. Fawcett and Walter Babe Williams talking about clans and migrations, but J.B. Fawcett talks very, very fast. And so there's a real difference between these speakers and some of the ones who really like to talk fast. So, Jackie, kan cheese. Okay.
Yeesh.
Sheesh.
Goodness, sheesh.
Ah, yeah.